This tank is the ML1. This is a Swedish Tier 8 heavy tank, and the map is Epic Normandy in the Frontline game mode. This is actually a nice tank. I'm glad that I have it. I'm sorry, actually, I believe that I've actually sold it. I leveled through it during 1 week playing Frontline. Because I like autoloaders, I put my Christmas camo on it. As you can see, it was doing 50 kilometers. I don't know if that was downhill, but it does 40 kilometers. I didn't get the impression that it was a high-speed tank. I don't know enough about the gun. I'm not going to say it's a high-penetrating gun. I do like the fact it's an autoloader. It's actually a small tank. If you haven't played it yet, you might be surprised at how small it is, especially if you've played the AMX 5100. I will say that I get a lot of bounces, and I mean bouncing off of enemy tanks. I was lucky to get 4 penetrations in a row, but it's not that common. This thing will bounce a lot. So I'm going to guess that it's not a high penetrating gun. So as you can see, I was waiting for a track to repair to avoid using the repair kit, and I took some damage because of it, which is irrelevant because we have the repair and resupply facilities. They kind of changed this, but there's a little place over here. You notice that where I'm going up over here is an access point that you use. You see I'm having trouble because I didn't get enough speed. But this is where you would go up in order to snipe at Cap B. I'm going to make a second try. It might have been easier last year. Maybe they changed the map. I don't remember. One of the things you can do is come up to this red line and get a lot of interesting shots on enemy tanks. And you see I got a lot of allies here who are going to back me up if that T-26E4 comes after me. But be wary. If you kill somebody, you see that Type 59? If I kill him, he's going to respawn, and there's a good chance he'll come after me. So don't be surprised if that sort of thing happens. It happens all the time. You can see the T-26E4 is not in a position to hit me. There's an ally right behind me right there. This is a very good position to play. Look how far into enemy territory I'm able to get. Look at the mini-map. And I'm going to show you another position which nobody knows about. There's a house which is probably... Okay, I believe it's this house right here. You can hide behind that house. You don't have to be behind these rocks over here. You see where this IS-3 is? He could get behind this house, and he will be able to cover Cap B, and he'll be protected from snipers. You'll see it in my Frontline sniping videos. I mentioned that position, and I've never seen anybody play it ever. That's why you don't run out. Got to have situational awareness. Look at that. Look at that. I can't even do any damage to him. He's got no weak spot, and my gun can't do crap. So that's why I reversed. I have to let my ally do the damage. It's a waste of time to go after that turret. Oh, maybe if he's pointing sideways, I could pull it off. Oh, look, I did get some. Okay, so I was able to take him out. So now here you got to make this decision if you want to reload, and I decided to go for the reload. You want to make your way towards the resupply facility. My team has decent coverage. It's not perfect, but if you can sneak in and get a repair in, it will be really worth it. Basically, I'm in a situation where it's better to die than to go back to repair. So I'm probably going to end up dying in this game. I only got 1,300 damage. We're really pressing them back. Okay, so I did die. Looks like I'm coming in with an STA-1. STA-1 is a good general purpose all-around tank. This is a good tank to start the game with. The autoloaders dominate this game. This is obviously not an autoloader, but I seem to recall... Let's see if we can get gun statistics here. Penetration is 218. That's really nothing special. 275 is okay. Like, if this had 300 penetration, that would be amazing. 275 is obviously good for APCR, but it's not amazing. Okay, so they are capping us.
Our reinforcements have arrived. You have been promoted.
It's not a fast tank. I'm only getting 40 kilometers. The Emil is actually the tank that I start every game with until I leveled it up, so I don't have the Emil anymore. It's gone into tier 9. So I still have this STA-1. I have I believe what's called the STA-2, which is a premium tier 8 tank. I did like it. I enjoyed playing. I don't like the Leopard PTA. I hated that tank. I got the tier 9, and I actually sold it. And it's only like halfway researched because I just got sick of playing it. Oh, that sucks. You notice that because the T-26E4 pointed his stronger armor towards me, I decided to switch towards the side armor of that IS-6. Now remember, when you reset the cap, you get a lot of prestige. So resetting the cap is really, really good, especially if you want to win a free tank. I want to get that free Emil and the tier 9 tank that hasn't been announced yet. I got the other 2 tanks already. So I'm going to the repair facility. And I haven't done a lot of damage in this game. It's not going to be a high damage game because the enemy is at the spawn and on the beach. And when that happens, you're never going to have a high damage game. This will definitely be low damage. And you can see we're still pretty even. You want to press the tab key periodically in the game to see how many enemy tanks are in your sector. And also use the M key to look at the map. Having situational awareness is really important in the game. I'm going to advance. Artillery just came up. You want to use artillery as soon as it comes up. The last thing you want to do is die and not get a chance to use it. I do recommend, if you want to play a leadership position, to play with engineering, because you're going to have to do a lot of capping. Smoke screen to defend yourself and your allies when you're capping, because it makes a difference between winning and losing. And recon, because it's also a very necessary aspect of the game. I've had artillery where I've done 800 damage. I have more than one artillery shot with 800 damage. But artillery often does not do that much damage. I would say you expect to get between 0 and 250 with artillery. So artillery doesn't have that potential that smokescreen and recon does. I will say I haven't had great luck with smokescreen, and I haven't had great luck with recon. It's something you have to learn to do. Recon, you got to have your allies in sniping positions, and with smokescreen, you have to be under threat in order for the smokescreen to really be a benefit. So you got to measure the right time to use it. Okay, that house I was telling you about is this house right here. If I were at that house, then the T-44-100, which is over there, would not be able to hit me. Although I would be able to take damage from the Progetto who's behind me. You know, there's people who tell you not to try and reset. It's just absolute bull. Do whatever it takes to reset that cap. It's absolutely worth it. All I did was lose 30 seconds. And if I had done it, I would have gotten tons of prestige, and I could have knocked him down by a minute. It would make a big difference in the game. I saw a game where it was absolutely chaotic, where they were going after B constantly. They had a constant presence on B, and it was a bloodbath. And I wish I knew which replay it was so I could show you how much of a bloodbath it was. But these games are going to be more common in the future because people are going to start learning the capping method. They're going to start to understand the roles that I preach, you know, cap and kill the objectives. People are going to figure it out after a while. I figure it out because I play the game. Okay, there's 20 seconds. It's very risky to go up here. Even though you might think that I'm going to make it, I think it's going to be a really close call. Okay? Watch what's going to happen. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Look how close I was. I play a risky game because I want to learn to be a better player. You play the risky game. When you learn how to be a better player, then you judge when to take risks and when to play conservatively, and you make a better decision. Okay, I'm going to talk about this position. Look where I am on the mini map. You're probably aware of this position. If the enemy caps B and they're advancing on A, this is a very difficult position to play. It's a very hard position. It's horrible. I would recommend only play this if you want to make a last stand type of situation. High risk position. Especially my turret goes around very slowly. I've got no support from my allies. Slow reload. I die here often.
Ready for deployment.
If you have a choice between dying and repairing, like you say, well, it's going to take me a minute to get to the repair facility, and if I die, I'm only going to lose 40 seconds. I say the best thing to do is go to the repair facility. Now, I noticed that there were too many tanks at C and that nothing interesting was happening, so I was notifying my allies at C that they should respawn somewhere else, and one of my allies at C responded affirmative, meaning that he agreed with me. Now that there's 3 minutes and a half before I can respawn, I got to keep this tank in the game. So I'm not going to play risky. I'm going to stay away from the enemy. I use this tank defending because of the mobility. It means I'm going to take up a flanking position. I'm going to hit the enemy when they're reversing to reload, when they're crossing over, after they respawn, and things like that. So this is why you don't need APCR rounds. You can use the AP rounds and high explosive rounds and hit the tanks on their side armor. Look at this guy. He's side armor shot. Oh, come on. Take him out. Take him out. Take him out. Got him. So this is a position that I often end up in. I get spotted here all the time, so be careful, be wary. It's not a magic position, and I use camo nets. You want to use camo nets if you don't like to brawl. You're going to be playing long distance frequently, and you're going to have to worry about these tanks like this Rom Borsig. You know, I screwed it up. I should have hit the Rom Borsig. There was a huge mistake. But you got to watch out because tanks will come around and get behind you on the rear if you play in this position. So, oh, look at that. We got a tank out in the open over here. Side shot, side armor. When you hit that tank, and some people will tell you to shoot in front of the tank. I aim as close to the front, but on the tank as close as possible. So if he suddenly stops, you still want a chance of hitting that tank. And the same for when they reverse, and he's out of the game. Let's see how we're doing. We're about equal. This is a point where you see that guy's not crossing over, and we got a guy next to him. Oh, did I lose? And look at what he's doing. He's also crossing over. I missed the shot, unfortunately. It doesn't look like I have a high velocity round. It looks like that Rom Borsig was taken out of the game. It's safe for me to be here as long as I don't get spotted. However, the wise thing to do is to make my way to the repair facility. Looks like that Samoa SM is a well-armored tank. He's in a position where I could maneuver to snipe against him, but he might be taken out of the game. And he's out. Okay, so they got A and B. We got that smoke screen. I'm probably going to the repair facility, so I'm going to advance. I use the smoke screen. You got like 5-second delay to drop a smoke screen, so you really want to drop it on the cap before you get there, and it takes practice to drop smoke screens. So if you like to cap, practice using it. And the other issue about the smoke screen is I don't know if you need to be in it or if you can just be behind the smoke screen. I don't know. I'm asking my allies, how is D doing? And I don't think they're going to respond to me, but you can see that D doesn't look like it's doing very well. And the reason why I'm asking is because I'm really concerned about what's going on at D. And it looks like they're going to cap. And my team is not in a position. I asked them, how is D doing? And they're not responding. There is no adequate communication in this game. Part of playing a leadership role is to communicate with your allies and tell them, you say E has too many allies. You look over here, we're about even, but we are well defended at E. You want to notify your team. For example, at C, there's just way too many at C, and those people should be respawning at D. You never know when there's going to be a new player that hasn't played the game, or old players that forget, or people that just don't have good situational awareness. I watch the map constantly. What you want to do is watch the map whenever your gun is reloading. That's the technique. If your gun takes 8 seconds to reload, spend that 8 seconds watching the minimap and make your map as big as possible. I usually make it one size down because I've been playing a long time, but don't make your map this small. Make it pretty big. Watch it while you're reloading is your first step at gaining situational awareness. The second step is to watch it while you're driving. And once you get those two things mastered, you're going to have much better situational awareness. I remember playing a game, it was on Malinovka, I was in the water, and if you know about being in the water, tanks can sneak around the ridge and get behind you, and there was a light tank that did it, and I was watching him as he came in, and I had like a 3-second advance notice for this guy coming in on me, so I was able to turn my gun around. He thought he was going to get behind me, but his plan didn't work. That's what situational awareness is all about. I bet you I'm not going to penetrate on him. It's too easy of a shot. Oh, I did. Okay, he's out.
You have been promoted.
Okay, so I got 4,500 damage and 1,100 assistance damage. The enemy has not been advancing, and because of that, it's not a high damage game. You really need the enemy to be aggressive to have a high damage game. This looks like it's probably going to be an easy win. I don't know. You can see I have, it looks like a Christmas camo on this tank. The WZ-132 is a pretty good tank. It's not an enjoyable tank like the Type 64 or the Type 62, but it's not a bad tank. I really like the AMX 1390 and the 1357 GF. This tank is pretty good. I don't really like the Russian light tanks that much, and I don't like the German light tanks except for the RU-251. The Chinese light tanks are pretty good. French all around, every branch is good. American light tanks, they're good, but it's a little weird playing an American light tank. Okay, so that's the game. 4,900 damage, 1,100 assistance damage, and a victory.